conversation here. Who took to the streets to protest on the 24th and I believe 25th of June, and also just recently on the 9th of July, is in the anti-government process that we've been witnessing in the country of late. Now, let me start with you. You are a uniformed officer, yet you decided to participate in the protest. Of course, this picture there on that particular front saying, I'm doing this on behalf of government employees, of a government employee rather, who is tired of Zakayo but can't say anything because kazi itaenda. How did this come about? What pushed you to the edge to do this?
So I think, as I've said before, like the people we have elected to represent us, I don't think they are doing their job. And also the people who have been nominated, they're not doing their job correctly. And there are many competent people in government, and that's what I'm advocating for. And people should be accountable for what they are doing. And yeah, we just want a better Kenya.
Okay,
yeah.
But this is the thing, you decided to do this while in uniform. In most cases, people will not do that. How did the courage come about to say, of course, as I'm a police officer at the same time, but I still have to do this?
I think if I'm paying taxes and I think I just have the right to demand for what is right, because I'm a taxpayer of this country. If the financial bill was going to pass, it was going to affect me, it was going to affect my kids. So I think if I'm just a Kenyan citizen, I'm just supposed to demand for what is right.
Okay.
Yes.
Demanding for what is right, fine. But doing that in uniform for the state that you're supposed to be representing, then that is where maybe people are questioning. Like,
so if the price of diapers rise, I will also be affected, because it doesn't exclude me because I'm an officer. You get what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
Yeah.
So your actions, what have they costed you?
Yeah, currently I've been interdicted from my job, and it's very sad because I was just trying to do the correct thing. And there are some cops who are out there who are killing people, and they're still out there doing their job, which, like, I don't think is the correct thing to do. Okay. Yeah.
In the process of your interdiction, what was the message that you were given? What were you told?
I was told, like, they interdicted me because of the placards that were on the internet, but I think what they did was I wasn't interdicted in a correct manner. Yes.
When you say you were not interdicted in the correct manner, what would be the correct manner?
Because I was not fairly charged. Yeah, I was hearing stories. There were some people in government who were just pushing for me to be interdicted, for me to be sacked. Yeah, and it should be done according to the Constitution of Kenya, and I don't think it was followed in a correct manner. Okay.
When you say it wasn't followed in a correct manner, what is it that you look at and you say, okay, this was quite unfair for me as a Kenyan citizen and as somebody that has been employed at this particular
Yeah, first of all, I think I was charged twice. I still have a pending case that is supposed to be taken to court, and I was interdicted on 10th, and on that same 10th, I was charged with the same offense. There were some DCI officers who took my fingerprints, yeah, and I was released on a cash bail the same day. So I don't think there is a law anywhere in the Constitution that says a person should be charged twice. I think there are some people just in government who are just pushing, and that's not the correct manner of doing things.
Okay, let me understand that. Charged twice for the same offense, or charged twice for...
Yeah, charged twice for the same offense.
Okay, so what would have been, because you say it is very unconstitutional for you, what would have been the best way to go about it, if at all, if you're to be, charged or taken through the right process? What do you feel should have been done better for you?
I think, like, they could have listened to me, the reason why I was doing the things I was doing. Yeah.
Okay. Let me get, because now you have a family.
Yeah.
You took a bold move and decided to speak for the rest of other government employees, just like your placard was saying.
Yeah.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from your family?
Currently, my dad is very proud of me. Okay. My brother is also very proud of me, and my sisters are proud of me, but they are fearing for my life. Okay. But for a change to happen, for a revolution to happen, we must stand tall and be fearless. Yeah, and that's, I think I did a nice thing. Okay.
Oh, you did a nice thing.
Yeah.
You came out bold. But this is the thing. Your family is proud of you, but they fear for your life. Do you fear for your life yourself? I
think from what I've gone through right now, I don't think I fear for my life, because I think I've made an impact, and I made an impact in this revolution.
Have you been threatened? Because you see, with this, a lot of people have been coming out and saying, I've received threats, abductions and all that. A lot of things are happening, and allegedly, most of these things are believed that they're being, these abductions and all that being done by police officers and all that, and of course representing the state. Those are just allegations. But with what is happening, have you been in any way threatened?
Yes, I've been threatened a lot of times. Some people have been calling me, and some people also have been following me. Before I got my anticipatory bail, when those placards went viral on the internet, yeah, some people were coming to my house looking for me. They even went ahead to my bike, my rider, and they asked him where I was living. And I've been traced like with people, unknown people who are not in uniform, so many times.
What was going through your mind when that was happening? You know that people are trailing you. What was going through your mind?
I was afraid, but yeah, and then I went into hiding, and then I got my anticipatory bail. Then I presented myself.
Right now you are on TV speaking.
Yeah.
You've been in a couple of interviews.
Yes.
How does it not scare you? Because a lot of people that will be in your position will not be willing to talk about it, because of fear of what could happen to them. Just like you put it, you've been trailed, your family is afraid, is scared on your behalf and all that. Where do you get the courage to say, despite my fears, I'm still going to go ahead and do this?
Yes. Because when the fear is gone, they lose their power.
All right. Right, that's a conversation that we had earlier on with Jackson Kihara, who is the suspended prison warden, just giving us his account from where he gathered the courage to actually, hold a placard in uniform and protest against the current state of the nation. Of course, he also took to the streets outside Parliament buildings, that is on the 9th of this particular month, to, say issues to do with police brutality should come to an end. Right, we are having that conversation with him earlier on here on the program. I want us to continue with, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, yeah. I was listening to the young man, and I'm trying to wonder where he got the courage, for starters, to risk it all, because he knew very well, I would imagine, that the day he came out in police uniform, raised that placard, he knew his job was gone.
Yeah.
But he's raised a very important issue, that while he has lost his job, what he can't understand is why there are police who were involved in extrajudicial killing and are still in employment. That's a very serious issue for us to reflect on.
Okay.
It is true, I agree with you, that he broke a code of conduct. When you're employed, there are things you don't do. And if you must do them, then there is even a better way of doing it. He broke the code of conduct knowingly. But he laments that while I did it, why is it that those who committed extrajudicial killing are still in employment? Okay. I think it is a very serious issue that the government must reflect. Who is the criminal here? Who should lose his job here? Is it a young man who forgot that he's a Kenya police officer and came out to express his anger against a regime he felt is repressive, or another police officer who shot wantonly at peaceful demonstrators, who should lose his job?
Okay.
I think it's a question that the government really needs to ask themselves.
This is a young man, probably your age. Yes, he's lost his job, and we are coming back to talk about the issue of the price that we have to pay in this particular struggle. But what's your take on Jackson's story, especially, you know?
Jackson represents thousands of people who have been, I usually say that they are being, you know, it's just oppression, because you stand up for yourself and then you even lose your job. Not only Jackson, there are people who have stood up themselves. Some have been abducted, some have been killed, some we don't know even where they are today, you know. So I think in Article 1 of the Constitution, there is a relationship there. The very first phrase of the sovereignty and the state. In that, when you want to find it that the state is fighting its own citizens, then where are we heading to? I stand up for myself as a young man, you know, fighting for my rights on the behalf of many youths, and we get abducted, we get killed. If you stand up as a soldier, there are even teachers, everyone, they lose their job and salaries. The other person, the other time I saw a watchman who lost their job because, you know, he just housed people who are running from the live bullets and tear gases, and he lost the job. So I want just to urge Kenyans that in solidarity we will win, and in unity and solidarity, we will never lose. Okay. We are going
in unity and solidarity, we will never lose. Yeah. Brings me to now the price that has to be paid. Since the protests began, of course, coming back to Jackson here, the security guard that you're actually mentioning, some have lost their jobs, of course, but the bigger picture here is the people that have lost their lives, the people that are, you know, are scarred out of this protest, and still the pressure to, you know, to continue, and the need to fight for accountability and good governance is not, you know, it's not leaving the stage, it's still there. Killed. And
the truth, the thing that pushed the people is not even losing the life. The third principle, according to Karl Marx, say that introduce a factor and then we'll be able to know the enemy within. And it has been evident that the enemy within is the government, led by one president, William Samoei Ruto. As if he abducts. He won't abduct everyone. He won't allow him to abduct. Because if we have Kenya, and we don't want our country to go in the line of Congo, in the line of Rwanda, and all those countries that we know, you know, and we know very well that according to these articles, the Constitution, 37, 66, all those articles, that strike and picketing are all allowed. So even if they abduct these people that, and you know, it's without being able to think that this one is the head, you are missing it out. You know, we are leaderless.
Okay, you are leaderless.
So that abduction, it won't work. But again, we won't allow our people just to be abducted anyhow. Okay. Yeah.
The abduction, Kimani, there's abduction. There's total brutality that has been meted against these protesters. And this is what I'm saying. The price to pay for this revolution, quote unquote, seems to be a little bit too harsh.
You see, Thomas Jason says that from time to time, the tree of liberty must be refreshed by the blood of the patriots and tyrants as well. Now, it's a sad thing, but whenever there is a revolution, there has to be casualties of war. Because every war, there is attrition to every war. There are those who suffer attrition every time there is war. This is war for a better government, war for a better Kenya, war for a better state. Now, It is sad, but true, we've had casualties of war. There are patriots who've refreshed the tree of liberty with their own blood, with their own life. What we will tell the president, let him not be the tyrant whose blood must refresh this tree of liberty. He must stand out to be the hero who listened to the people and who did what was right when nature called upon him to decide between the right and wrong. While at it, we must also demand for justice for the people who've been killed, those who've been maimed. If there were criminals who infiltrated rather peaceful demonstrations, it is the government of Kenya to apprehend the criminals. The only time the police is allowed to use lethal force is only when it's the life of the policeman in question is in danger. You cannot purport that your life is in danger when you are confronted by people who are carrying handkerchiefs, mobile phone, and a bottle of water, because some of those people who've been killed were not, they didn't even carry stones. Yeah. Now, the president and this country owes its people to tell the truth. And IPOA must rise to the occasion and apprehend every criminal elements in the police force, those who came in with plain clothes and killed peaceful demonstrators, or even those who are not peaceful, but who did not deserve to be killed. Okay. It was, the IPOA was the people of this nation, the truth. The president on his end cannot sit pretty when he knows very well there are criminal elements in his police force who killed people, because it is obvious he does. And it must also be said that in as much as he apologized for those actions of the police to kill people rather late, that he was very hesitant to talk about it. At some point, he even congratulated the police when there were cases of death of his own young people in the nation. He must feel, you see, empathy demands that a president must feel the pain of his people for him to govern them well. He must wear the shoe, he must feel the pinch, he must walk the talk, because he is one with his people. If a president cannot be one with his people, then it is obvious that the most honorable thing for the president to do is to correct his actions or get out of the office.
Okay, we'll be getting into that. Let me come to the issue of which expected today, and that has to do with, you know, there's been calls to occupy counties. Why is there the need to extend this particular fight all the way to, you know, the devolved units? Because
the corruption majorly, of course, it starts from the top, but in counties, there are a lot of impunities happening in those counties, trust me. There are a lot of money that is being pumped to the county government through devolution, but these people are stealing much. I've just talked of NGCDF funds because I'm a youth, I'm a student, and those are the sectors that our people cannot go hungry and also be, you know, denied education, things like those. So we are draining the swamp everywhere, starting from the top to the bottom, you know. You know, we say that when a fish is rotten from the head, you know, then you cut it. You start cutting from the head through downwards. And that's what is happening now. We are draining the swamp everywhere. And me, I'm happy because this is sanitization. These impunities have been there ever since this regime came into power. So youths will sanitize everywhere. And they won't be stopped. Okay. Yeah.
The president has said, because we are, I believe, coming also almost to an end of our conversation this morning, the president has said, you know, the protests are being sponsored, and he cited the Ford Foundation, which has come out, of course, to say they are, it's not them. And these are revolution, quote unquote, or a movement that started, you know, with claims to be very leaderless, tribeless, does not have, you know, not being sponsored by anyone. They just united on the basis of what is affecting the country. Let me start with the blame game that has been happening in the country, that the head of state has started doing that, of course, and also just the papers this morning quoted on that. Say the blame started with the opposition. Now it went to, you know, non-governmental organizations. It went to former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now we are looking at the Ford Foundation. With this blame game, are we taking responsibility for whatever is happening in the country or looking for somebody else to blame?
I would say the president must choose his side well, right? The side of burying his head in the sand and walk with a lie that what we are experiencing in this nation is an act of sabotage, and that there are saboteurs who must be brought to book, because he can choose to look at it that way. He can even go out and talk to people and tell him how people have been funded out to come out and sabotage his government. He can do all that. Or he can choose to listen to the voice of truth from his own sons and daughters. People who, majority of whom don't even pay taxes, but can tell that this country is not moving the right direction. And it is upon the current generation to bequeath the young generation a country that is better than what they found it. Now, the president has a decision to make. Which side of history does he want to stand on? The side of lies or the side of truth? The truth is, whether or not this movement is funded, it is calling upon us to reflect on so many issues and change the way we do things. That is the truth he's not going to walk away from. He's not going to walk away from the truth that Kenya is a corrupt nation. It is patently obvious we are a corrupt nation because our leaders, the lages with which they are living, is patently obvious they are corrupt fellas.
Okay.
He's not going to walk away from the fact that he has been the head of a very incompetent cabinet. He's not going to walk away from that. And that it is upon him, because the cabinet does not serve at the behest of the president. It serves at the behest of the people. Now, when you appoint an incompetent cabinet, then you are wronging the people that the cabinet is supposed to serve. Now, it is upon the president to do the right thing. And if there are the perpetrators who've infiltrated a rather peaceful demonstration, let the law catch up with them, because there is the law of the land that must be followed.
Okay.
But on the demands of the people, the president must take these demands very seriously, and he must take it as an opportunity that is very rare to men in power to do the right thing and have the support of the people while doing it. Because if he doesn't allow, if he allows this opportunity to slip through his fingers, then he'll have himself to blame come 2027, because the people will wake up and tell him, we gave you an opportunity to correct your wrongs, you refused to do so, then now it is our duty to make sure that you are no longer our leader.
Okay. I'm running out of time. Dixon, moving forward, what do you see as a young person with whatever has started as far as this movement is concerned, and demanding for accountability? As a young person, when you're looking at the future, you're looking at the present. How are you seeing this present define the kind of future that you envision for this country?
I'm seeing a corrupt-free future where there is employment for the youth.
Corrupt-free?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, it is possible.
Okay.
That's what we are advocating for. Corrupt-free country where there is employment for our young people, where education is free, where healthcare is free, where our people, the workers of the country, they are not being, oppressed, where the payment is there, where agriculture, in agricultural sector, cotton is there, cotton farming, where fertilizer is not fake. So we are looking for a better future.
Okay.
And what I can tell you is that we have this thing. The only thing that we need to do now, this revolution has united us. And may the unity that we have today on the ground may be seen in the ballot box in 2027.
Okay.
Because at a point, to be sincere, Kenya is a democratic country under by the laws of the land. And among the ways of removing a person in the office is through election. So may our people be united in that when it comes 2027, irrespective of the region that you are from, let us all united and go to the ballot. And again, may our young men rise so that we might revive this position to present ourselves and have a cadre, because indeed we are very culpable. Personally, why? I'll be vying in 2027. So
I hope some of the people that are your mentors are not some of the people that you're trying to fight at this particular moment, then, because we're just transferring the same thing to the next election. Are they? Are you being mentored by people that you are fighting right now?
The truth is, what is mentoring me is the goal that the vision that we have.
Okay.
As youths. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. We do want to close. But watching from Bugondi, this is Cyrus Chumda and Adam Umayo watching from Matungu, Koyonyos. Thank you so much. Graham Selnyaga and Jeru says, watching from Githurai 45 in Nairobi. And Regan Mashari on Twitter says, are they doing it in the right way? Or it's just out of hype from a certain section of people who feel agitated for not being in positions of power? I believe there is no agenda going forward by hijack from opportunists and anarchists. That's your feedback. Thank you so much for making time and sending your feedback on having a say on this conversation here on The New Dawn. Our continued coverage of today's events continues here on K24. Of course, my guest, Dickson Aluoch, who is a youth advocate. Thank you so much for making time. And Kimani, thank you so much for making time for this conversation here on this particular show. All right. Now, that's where we wrap it up here on this particular program. Thank you so much for making time and tuning in from 6 a.m. all the way to this particular moment. I'll be seeing you later on with whatever will be transpiring today. We expect people to be taking to the streets to demand for accountability. Total Shutdown Tuesday continues today. My name is Brian Amwai. On behalf of everyone, and I mean everyone, that made this one a success this morning, I want to thank you so much for watching. Good day.